What's going on, everyone? Scott here, and welcome back to the channel. So, Survivor Season 50, Episode 12 is here, the penultimate episode of this 50th season of Survivor, the celebration of a season in the hands of the fans. Now, last week, we saw the double elimination with Emily going home and then Ozzy going home with the idol in his pocket, unfortunately, again. This week, we're at the final 7. 2 more people going home in this one before we get to that 5-person finale coming up next Wednesday. But before we do jump into this episode, if you could just hit that like and subscribe button down there. We'll have more Survivor 50 content on the channel, so just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. We'll have a preview episode for the finale next week, and then, of course, recap the finale afterwards as well. So just make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a video. So back at camp, Devins tries to apologize to Cirie, saying that he didn't want to vote for anyone here, but she doesn't really buy it. And then the next group gets back and reveal that Ozzy was gone and didn't use his idol. So a tough night for Cirie, obviously getting votes for there, but using her extra vote to help get Emily out there, and then one of her closest allies, probably her closest ally in Ozzy, going home at the other tribal as well. Now, Rizzo now hopes that Cirie needs him a lot more with Ozzy gone, but Cirie is like, why was he was doing jury management 2.0? Like, what did you do that for? He truthfully did not need to do that. Aubrey was gonna go home if he hadn't spilled the whole game to her. It was 90% probably going to be her, but Jonathan is feeling himself, thinking he was the mastermind behind everything that happened, flushing the idol, Cirie using her extra vote, getting Emily and Ozzy out, 2 people that he wanted out of the game, so he's feeling himself. But Aubrey's like, who's the one that told you this information about Ozzy, that Ozzy came to Aubrey and told her everything about his game throughout the game and what his final couple rounds of this game was going to look like in his eyes. But Aubrey is focused, and she feels the ember inside of her is aflame now and is working to get every threat out of the game so she doesn't get to the end and lose like she did in Co-Wrong. The next morning, bright and early, Devins is out there searching for an idol, and Aubrey tells Joe, and then they tell Jonathan as well, so he's like, we should go with him. So Jonathan goes and stays right on his hip as he searches for an idol. He comes up to Devin and says, what are we looking for? Devin's like, I lost the contact, but Aubrey feels like she's been playing the middle as the best spot in this game, and Devin gets a little emotional, saying he's never out and he's looking for positivity, as he's always one of the more positive ones out there on the island. But trying to psych himself up to go out and win, because he did win 4 individual immunity challenges in his season of Survivor. But day 22 immunity challenges here, and it's another Survivor Classic. A guaranteed spot at 6 is on the line, plus reward, barbecue ribs, cornbread, beans, potato salad, and coleslaw. And Joe, same as season 48, goes slow as a snail's pace, but wins immunity. He chooses Cirie and Rizzo to enjoy the reward with him. Joe acknowledges that there is a common threat people want out in Devins, but the necklace allows you to look ahead a little bit as well. We'll see if he actually does that, though. Back at camp, the 3 enjoy their spread of the reward. Joe chose Cirie because she has a lot of friends, and Rizzo because he has an idol, so he says it was strategic. But Rizzo said if the votes are 100% on Rick Devins, then maybe he can save his idol for another round. This is what he pulled in 49 as well, just kind of able to extend that idol round by round. Tiffany is a little annoyed that Rizzo still has an idol and letting him skate by. Wants to use Devins as a smokescreen to flush Rizzo and his idol. But obviously Devins loves this. He's like, anyone but me. He tells Aubrey this, and obviously she's okay with it, but then again, she's like, well, if Rizzo is driving people nuts, maybe she wants to go to the end with him. And she's thinking all about the final 3, and Devin's antics are a threat in the game, she feels. Tiff runs this by Jonathan as well, and then Jonathan runs this by Cirie as well with Tiffany about getting Rizzo and his idol out. But Cirie shakes her head, and she doesn't want 2 of her allies to go blindsided back to back. So she's like, Devins must go tonight. So she's going to do everything to help Rizzo as long as it doesn't endanger her game. And can we maybe hear that code word to play the idol that we heard between Cirie, Ozzy, and Rizzo? But we head to Tribal Council and discussion about Joe's reward decision and deciphering auction orders from a couple days ago. Kind of silly, in my opinion. But Devins knows he's a target tonight, but knows that these people may blindside him and keep him. But Rizzo says he doesn't want to be a fool and knows he could be an option tonight as well, so he could just guarantee his spot and play his idol. Devins does reflect on playing this second time and how he has been more emotional this season. Talks about how beautiful the stars are out there in Fiji and what it means to be out there on that island. And with that, we get to the vote, and Devins plays a shot in the dark. Not safe, unfortunately, for Devins, and Devins does go home. One last news report for Devins and on the island, and unfortunately for him, he's out of the game. And love him. Hope we get to see him out here again. I know we waited a while, it seems like, for him to come out here, but would absolutely love to see him out here again. I feel like he is also one of those players, though, that when he comes back, he will have such a big target on his back because people see him as such a big threat like he is in this game, and rightfully so. But definitely love Devins and love him on Survivor. Hope we get another shot to see him out there. But the next morning, Tiff is aggravated. Rizzo didn't play his idol, but she is going to do whatever necessary to flush Rizzo's idol. Her and Jonathan think that they can sell Rizzo to not play his idol, but Aubrey is concerned about sitting next to Tiffany at the end. But she has to convince Jonathan and Joe about looking at Tiff because she's seeing Michelle Fitzgerald from her co-wrong season. She's seeing Michelle round 2 about getting to the end and losing to Michelle there. She's seeing that in Tiffany here. And Joe says Tiffany may be the most dangerous player out here. Jonathan tells Rizzo about how hot to trot Tiffany is about getting Rizzo's idol out. The last vote and, seemingly going into this one, she is really, really honed in on getting Rizzo's idol out of here. But Rizzo is so connected that it comes back to him, and Jonathan wants him to not tell Suri that the vote could be going on Tiffany. But they are close allies, obviously, so Rizzo does tell Suri, and she's like, well, who's the vote if it's not Tiffany? And Rizzo's like, I don't know, like it'll probably be Tiffany or something like that, he says. And Rizzo said he's being a Riz rat and hoping people don't connect the dots. And as a Riz God fan, my heart sank a little bit when I heard him say Riz Rat. If you watch the preview for this episode, you know what we're talking about, connecting the dots here. But we hope that will not be the case going forward if you watch the preview and you know what we're talking about for this episode. But Day 23 Immunity Challenges here. A spot in the final 5 on the line. A spot in the finale as well. Jonathan and Joe get to the end fairly quickly, and they're working together, but they don't know how to spell inconceivable. 23 days on Survivor, so it's definitely understandable. But Rizzo and Aubrey get there; they're all helping too. Aubrey is just kind of watching as Jonathan and Joe put it together, but they're wrong. So then they have to kind of move their arch around, and Tiffany just gets there. She is locked in, pulls it out, gets no help from anyone because they were all working to beat Tiffany. Like everyone besides Suri on the end, Tiffany on the other end, they were all working to beat Tiffany. And it was just incredible. And what I don't understand was the strategy behind that. Why Rizzo, Aubrey, and why they couldn't see, you see what the word is. So why don't you, if you want one of those 4 to win, you don't want Tiffany to win, or you're fine with Suri winning as well, then why would you not still try to put your arch together? Say, the word's inconceivable, we're good, just whisper it across that, and then you all try to put it together. Because if one of you mess up, and Tiffany, as incredible as she is, as she's, putting the thing together, you have more opportunities putting it together instead of just telling 2 people who started putting it together and they both mess up something, and then your plan goes by the wayside. And the person you wanted out now wins immunity because no one else started putting together their arch puzzle, whatever. I just don't get the strategy by that either. Why you wouldn't just put yours together? Joe says, of course, the one person who's the plan wins. Inconceivable indeed. And yes, it is. And back at camp, 3rd individual immunity for Tiffany, and Aubrey's annoyed that she didn't just focus on her puzzle. That's what we just spent a minute talking about here. But Rizzo said he's leaning on playing his idol. Aubrey says it's time for Suri to go because we all know if Suri sits at 3, she wins. Rizzo says if Suri sniffs it out, you're cooked. Playing with Suri has been a dream, Rizzo says, but he's here to win, and he knows if he's there with Suri at the end, it's a clean sweep. Cirie knows people are going to vote for her, but going to try to move it to Aubrey. She thinks her goose is cooked unless she can come up with another plan. But her and Tiffany are going to try to flip this and think Jonathan may be twisted, maybe someone who can be twisted up here. And now Cirie tells Jonathan, "You got a rat in your camp." This is what I was talking about. But in true iconic Cirie fashion, she flips it. She says, "You got a rat in your camp." Aubrey told her about the Tiffany vote, that the vote was supposed to be for Tiffany. So she doesn't throw her ally Rizzo under the bus like we thought when we heard Rizzo call himself a Riz rat earlier in the episode. She throws it to Aubrey, who she wants to get out here, and in order to try to keep her ally Rizzo in the game as well, even though Rizzo is trying to get her out currently on the other side. So, oh, it's got to be Aubrey then. Joe asks Aubrey about this, but she says no. Joe says that Cirie manipulates a room so gracefully that it even twists your own mind. Jonathan tells Rizzo that he does believe Aubrey is a snake, though. Rizzo is like, this is masterful by Cirie, but he needs them and Jonathan and Joe with him to get Cirie out. And Aubrey and Cirie knows it's either one of them. And Aubrey says it's hard to go against the best, but it's when her back's against the wall is when she plays the best game, she says. And we head to tribal council. Everyone is surprised that they are still here. Jonathan's saying that gets an eye roll from Ozzy from the jury. Rizzo says that tonight's vote will show where people stand going forward. Rizzo's idol is a topic of discussion for Tiffany again, as she's been hot to trot the last two votes to get that idol out of here. Joe says that if you take your eyes too far what is off of what is at camp right now, right in front of you, you might make a decision on a what if. Aubrey says the tension is about a 99 out of 100. This is do or die for everyone's game. The lingering feeling for Aubrey and Cirie that haunts you and you can't escape it is that they've both gotten far in this game but have came up short. You don't really escape it, as they said. And it's time to get to the vote. Aubrey says you're better than Sandra, you're better than Tony, and I'm glad to call you a friend, as she's voting for Cirie. Cirie's like, Aubrey, we gotta, I hope next time we meet in Fiji or on a beach like this or something, it's like on vacation or something. We can't keep meeting like this as they vote for each other here. But we get to reading the votes, and that's that. Cirie unfortunately goes out at 6. She thanks Jeff on her way out for everything Survivor has done for her, and that there's so much more out there than sitting on the couch. Obviously, famously quoted as the woman who got up off her couch and came and played Survivor. An absolute legend of the game, who up there on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, of Survivor players of all time. But looking forward ahead to next week, we have 5 people left for the finale. 5 people left, 3 days left in the game. There's still some fan votes out there to decide how things are going to play out. We got, what is the Final Four challenge going to be? Hopefully some motion. Will there be fire making? Probably not. And then will we read the votes in Fiji or in Los Angeles? Probably Los Angeles. It's going to be the live reunion in Los Angeles. We know that. So think we kind of know how some of these are going to go. Don't know about the Final Four challenge, though, but I feel fairly confident that there won't be fire making and that we're obviously getting the live reunion there in Los Angeles. But 3 major decisions from the fans still to come. And then we get the preview for next week on the Survivor 50 finale. $2 million on the line, got a race to the finish. Rizzo's a little emotional. Jonathan says if she wins, we're screwed. It's do or die. And it is crazy to think that we're already here at the finale of Survivor Season 50 coming up next week. And, going in, we're going to have a preview video talking about how I think what each person can do, how they can win in this finale. Just kind of looking at it from afar, just fresh off of this episode, I think it's either going to probably be Tiffany or Aubrey winning this game. I think the other 3 in Rizzo, Joe, and Jonathan, I think are all distant third. Now, that doesn't mean I think that Tiffany and Aubrey are going to get to the end, together. And they very well could, they could go out at 5 and 4 as the 2 biggest threats in the game right now. They very well could. And probably with no Final Four fire making, there's nothing they can really do about that unless they win immunity. But I think those are the 2 biggest threats in the game right now. from what we've seen, Tiffany and Aubrey. And that doesn't mean that one of them two are going to win. That's just what I think. They're the two biggest threats right now to win. So we'll see how that all shakes out. Like I said, I'll have a video on how each of the 5 finalists could potentially win this game going into the finale. And then, of course, we'll be back to recap the finale as well next week. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. As I said, we'll be back next week with a preview for the finale. And then, of course, a recap for the finale as well. So thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.